bit ago, so no, I'm always late. Anyway, hi. So you can still see outside a little bit. I will show. Hang on a minute. We can see what it looks like outside. It's still not bright enough to be outside at 7 o'clock, but at 6 o'clock it's plenty bright. So take a look. You ready? There we go. So soon we can be outside a little bit longer. Right now we could start outside, but we'd have to go in very shortly. And we're having some weather. It's not so bad down here. It is cold, but not for Minnesota. Are you kidding? Break out the Bermuda shorts. But the top of the mountain is, maybe it's a little better now. Oh, so, good evening. Is it 0 there? It's about 0 here too. It's gonna go in a minute. But I thought I'd show you what it looked like before it gets too dark. So maybe in about 2 weeks, we should be able to sit outside through all of it. Well, right now, they've been outside almost all day, so they're cold. Good evening, so who's here? I see Torben is first, and he declares the bazaar open, so that's good. Somebody's got to do it. Charlotte is here from the bus stop in coldy, windy Bergen with snow. And ginger beer, egg. Oh, yeah, Torben's got some like really interesting beer. Triple dry hopped New England Imperial Indian Pale Ale, 12% liquid, death with bubbles. So, you know, he's happy. Garcia's here, hey. Let's see. Oh, Charlotte is on the bus now. And it looks like Narnia where she was at. It was blowing snow a little bit here not too long ago, but for the most part not. I'm assuming it's blowing in the microphone because I can feel it, so we'll go in a minute. And Lyra's here, sewing clothes for the Gulf War. The one thing I am trash at, triangles are my worst nightmare. Oh, I agree with you there. Too many points. Making wool clothes for the weekend too. Fear of cutting fabric is real. Yes, it is. I think when I bought Vodmel, the dress that I usually wear with the embroidery on the front of it, the snakes, I think that sat for about 3 years before I dared cut into it. This expensive fabric was almost 1,000 kroner for 2.5 meters at the time when I bought it, and it's probably even more now. But it's wonderful wool, and it's the one thing that actually has not fallen apart yet since I made it. Max is here, and Anne Moreau, and Karin Okra, and Nella. Karin Okra, I mean. So, that's another thing I gotta show too. Crap, I forgot to print it out. There's a needle binding festival in Denmark, in Odense. Looks like Odense. That will be taking place, what was it, Nella, the 27th and 28th of May, I think it is. Last weekend in May. And hopefully Karl and I will be going. Now it's just a matter of where to stay. We were going to be roommates with Nella. I liked the idea and everything, and then Karl said he sleeps in the nude, so that's out, I think. But we're trying. But we should be able to get down there anyway, so that's pretty good. Just have to order or sort flight tickets and update my papers and whatever so I can travel out of the country, and they'll actually let me back in again. Anyway, going back inside so it stops blowing in the microphone if I don't wipe out. It's really icy here because of the wind. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see. There. Ice. And the snow is the kind of snow that looks like styrofoam pellets. And when you wipe it off your clothes, it looks like chalk. But that's the real ice you don't want to slip over. The death trap hitting that at night. It's not like you can walk around it either. No, anyway. The woes of being a Viking. We're gonna walk around that. And then I'll go inside and play with some stitches. I got tired of looking at Karl's wrist warmer, so instead of doing other things I was supposed to do, like finish the blue wrist warmer, so I failed last month's project. Actually, no, I patched my sweater with some blue. Does that count? I fixed one of his wrist warmers. Let's see. And we'll go in here. And I need a scissors if I don't have one so I can show you how I did this. Okay. So we got to see a little bit outside today. Oh, that's that wonderful view of the 80s coaches. Then, up, there we are. Karl's wrist warmer. This is the good one. Someone made these for him. They're left-handed. I forgot about that when repairing them. It has actually a little bit of a difference. This is what the other one looked like. You think that's not the thumb hole. It's actually ripped there. I did see that it has a weakness, so I can see why it ripped there, but this is the one who made this. This is like, I think, her first or second needle binding project ever, so it's kind of got some nice little mistakes in there, so I'm kind of glad to keep them, but I think that's how that happened. But this is actually where his thumb hole was. And now it looks like that. I don't usually like thumb holes like this that are just open, because you can see he's been wearing it for a day and it's already starting to stretch here, so I would reinforce it a little bit. But I didn't make them finished until then. So, let's see if I have a scissors here. And I can show you a little bit more. I got blue felt today. There we are. Reindeer fur on everything. So, okay, that was the old one. This is the old one, and this is his fixed one. So it's sat like that. If I have a scissors, I can just cut it and show you. But I'm ill-prepared today. We had grouping for quite late. Yep, I have a scissors. Nope, I don't have a scissors. Yes, I have a scissors. I can't make up my mind. I have a scissors. Okay. So to fix this one's actually not that bad, but he wants them to match because, you know, he's very specific about his patches. So I will cut it along here. I have to do this without my glasses on, though. So if you cut, you can just, doesn't matter which stitch you cut in, but cut it straight across because you don't want to cut over 3 rows. You want to cut over 1 row. So I see that the one who's made this has tied like a knot here, I think. So maybe we start with that and see where it splits. Nope, that thing is sewed on for dear life. Oh, maybe. I should get better at doing this through a phone. So I was listening to the news at home, my hometown, every once in a while. It's fun to turn on KQDS. You can actually check them out at kqds.com, and you can click the listen live and hear their dialect sounds just like mine. It's fun to listen to that one, though, to kind of reminisce a little bit. I remember thinking they just sound like everybody else. You know, they got that bass radio voice, so they sound normal. And now I listen to it, and I'm like, oh my gods, they sound just like me. Very Minnesotan. And the conversation is usually to do with ice fishing. How much snow we got? How cold is it? And hockey. Okay, so now I'm going to have to keep cutting this same loop all the way down. If you're not sure, just do one at a time and see how it stretches. A bit like that, so you can see that it doesn't actually fall apart then. I can always rip one more row out if I need to. But this is how I'll repair socks and things. Except for one thing I forgot to take into consideration. The person who made this is left-handed and I'm right-handed. So I would either have to needle bind it back left-handed or cheat a little bit and hope nobody will notice. And so far you haven't noticed on the other one. There's also another thing, is I picked this up from the bottom and knit it top, and as I started to do this, I could not pull. I pulled the yarn out and it didn't make sense, and I realized, oh, these were made top down. So that was another challenge. But I cheated. Lasted a little bit longer, but Karl wants to match. You know, he's very particular about his looks. Let's see. Ah, Charlotte made it home, got her groceries away, and socks off. Good job mending the wrist warmers. Thank you. Somebody's got to fix Karl. I can't fix myself. I mean, holes, but I can fix him. No, he was waving his arms around, talking about World War II with Anders the blacksmith, and as they're going on and on and on about war, all I can think of is I gotta fix those wrist warmers. I think I might have cut that one loop too small, but we'll find out. Okay, so that's off. And then you can look for any loose ones. Eventually you'll find the end of the yarn this way. Hopefully you only have one end if you'd cut it right, and otherwise just keep going till you get to. That is either loose or I think that's a mistake, but that's okay. I can actually pick it back farther to get that fixed. Let's see. Oops. So how many of you finished your project of the month in blue, by the way, for February? I did not. I need to finish it. I had 2 pairs of wrist warmers left in the store. They're both sold. So now I have to make some more real quick. So my project for this week is going to be, or this month is going to be wrist warmers as well. Beats making hats. Let's see. There, now I'm to that weak point, so we'll just go one beyond it to make sure we don't get it, because sometimes the weak point is further back. I'm not entirely sure that that's an error. Okay, but I noticed, okay, so this is another thing. She's made this in Oslo stitch, but this one I think was made top down because I couldn't find any rhyme or reason to the end thread, but now look at this. If I put it on my thumb, it's perfect for Oslo. So I think she did one of them top down and the other one bottom up, which is kind of cute. But like I said, it was one of her first projects. So, but now you can find the end yarn, put it on, and just keep going, which is easier. Like that. And then I put on this yarn. Karin made 3 sets of wrist warmers for your granddaughters. Oh, nice. So you're a good grandma. I didn't even make my kids one. They won't wear them anymore. They're at that age right now where handmade stuff is crap. But they'll get over that. I was there once too. God forbid I wear a sweater that my mom made, even though it looked exactly like the ones in the stores. So you could just pick it up and keep going. I should be making his thumb hole soon, but I'll do that. Oh, Albert changed his profile picture. I'll have to check. Oh yeah, no, I can see it on there. You got it's like is that a moon or a sun? I can't see it, it's too small on my screen. But I'm looking at the phone. Anyway, so that's what you would do. And then you would just add on new yarn and just keep going as normal as if you did. The trick would be to match the gauge. I think hers was a little tighter than what I'm doing, but this, you can't measure the gauge here. You got to measure the gauge from there. And I think, yeah, hers is a little bit tighter. The other thing is the yarn that you use needs to be about the same thickness, or that will also make a difference. So that's how she did. But this one, okay, so now when she was doing the other one, it was top down. And this also seems to be right-handed, so that's another interesting thing. I thought this was a left-handed person, but maybe it's not the same person I thought who made it. But when going the other way, you can, let's see, was it this one? If we were to pick up and go this way, take all this crap out of there. So, something like that. Now it's going to be tricky to find a loop because it's not going the right way. Or is it? No, now it goes the wrong way. So what I did then is I just made a loop, pushed the yarn to the right side. I probably would clean this up a little bit more before I did it, but anyway. So I can fit it on, kind of force it anyway, and then continue on as if Nalbinding. Also normally, and then I got like 1 week. There's a change here, you see? There's a slight change in that row right there, and that's because I changed directions. And this is where I spliced in new yarn. But the change is actually picked up here, so that's where there's a change made. But you can't really know just unless you look for it. But I can tell this is one of the new projects, or one of their first projects. You can see there's some little cute little mistakes in there like that. And that is a famous mistake that I did when I think it's taking the wrong loop behind your thumb. That will do that. But I did this kind of is kind of cute because my first needle binding projects have those in them too. But I like that he's been wearing these for years and I never even noticed that there's a mistake in it. So there you go. Even if you get a mistake, just keep swimming. It'll be fine. So anyway, that's how I fix those. I fix socks the same way. And then I have one stitch for you today. Gray is going to be the color of the month because when I went out to take the picture of Georg's backside that I used for the thumbnail, I didn't see enough color, so we're going to go with gray. How many hats have I made? Oh, crap. I think between September and January, I probably made 40 hats. I had made a lot for the store. But, yeah, no, over lifetime, crap, I can't even count. That's a lot. But the hats go so fast for me because it's one thing. You don't have to make a pair. You can start at the top or the bottom, however. And once you get past the increases, if you're starting at the top, once you get it wide enough, then it's just no-brainer. One stitch in every loop. So this one I'm going to show you is cross Dalby. I started it wrong. I didn't use enough loops on the back side, so it looks funny there. But it does show up. This is camel yarn, by the way. Cashmere, I guess you'd call that. But anyway, it's camel. So it's really hard to see the stitch. This is the front side, and this is the back side. But I have this thing. I can show you. Because I was thinking about showing it last week, but then I had time for Amani after all. So you can see it better on this one. That is the right side. You're starting at the bottom for a first time for a hat. I like doing that if I want it to be a pointy hat for some reason. It works out pretty well. But there's no reason I have to start at the bottom just because I want it pointy. I just seem to do it more that way. And that's the wrong side. But this will change when we do row 2. So we'll use this other yarn to show it because it shows up better. So I think it was because we were playing with was it Danish curl stitch or something like that? I forgot what it was called just a couple of weeks ago, so I was going to do cross Dalby next because Max was talking about it. So for this one, you have one loop on your thumb and you're going with 2 behind. But because the way the stitch is made, you see the 3rd and the 4th stitch are pointing this way, just like in Dalby, or Dollar, I mean. So this is the 3rd stitch. This is the 4th stitch. So, or 1 loop, 2 loops, 3 and 4. So we're going to go over 3 loops. So 1, not that one, but the 2nd loop, and the 3rd loop, which is the one that was on the left behind that I showed you at. But you want to pick it up from that side. So putting it on here, and then go from that side. And I found out I gotta do this stitch a little bit loose. But it's not done yet. Now you're gonna whip around and catch this one again. I have to take it off my thumb to do that. Like that. And then you turn and go forward through the front loop. So this is not an easy stitch either. I think I did something wrong. That feels way too tight. Either I didn't loosen it up enough. I might have done it wrong because the video she's going this way on Sana's video, New Lock and Tot. But I might have actually taken it this way the whole time. We'll see how much it changes. Max says, I tried to do it left-handed once and it apparently looks so unpleasing and deformed that I'm mostly better off doing it with my dominant one since I'm right-handed. Yep. I kind of agree with you. I have the same thing. I can Nalbind left-handed and I do it if I have to teach it. But otherwise I don't do it because it looks kind of like 2-year-old needle binding for me. So, and my gauge won't match. But there are some things where it's nice to be able to needle bind left-handed and right-handed and cross them over, for example, because then you're working in 2 different directions. Like that, and then, yeah, this feels really tight. I think when I did this originally, I didn't twist it, but we'll see. There'll be a different. I suspect the first time I was doing this, I went from this side and not this side, and that might be why it's feeling so much tighter. But we'll know because my stitch will change in appearance when I do that. But it's hard to pull it through. In which case, if that's what I did, I think I might just change my mind and go through this side instead. And just, I don't know, give it another name. It is very rare to find left-handers who can do that. I would agree with you. Left-handers, I call them lucky left-handers. They think it's a curse that they're left-handed because hard to find videos, patterns, whatever. But actually, left-handed means that you can, your stitch is slanted the opposite direction. So I call them lucky left-handers because they're the only ones who can make that stitch. Oh, I definitely didn't take the back loop that way in the first time around. There it is this one. It's possible she actually takes that loop from the other direction as well, and I just watched the video too quickly this afternoon. I was out of time. We had a cruise ship in today until 4:30. There, and then that way. But this one was called Cross Knit Dalby, if you're wondering. Yeah, no crap, there's no way in hell I did that. Shall we see what it looks like? Did I screw it up now? Yeah, see? It was all going fine until there. I don't think I twisted the back loop. So let's see if it straightens out. But in the left-handed versions, it shows a mirror image as the same as the counter to the right-handed counterpart. Oh, yeah, for where the little jog is on your... Yep. It used to bug me that the jog wouldn't be in the same place, but now I just kind of grow to accept it and call it like one of the things about needle binding that makes it that way. So now I'm intentionally taking the third loop from the inside out, just to see if that changes it. I think that's what I did the first time. No wonder it felt weird. I'm going to have to watch that video again. That just seems weird. Far be it me from teach you how to do it the wrong way. Maybe I'm doing it on purpose and just messing with you. I'm perfect. Lefty. Charlotta's a lucky lefty. Do you agree that lefties are lucky in needle binding, Charlotta? I think so. Ugh. Cross Dalby, like before. Yep, that's exactly why I was doing Cross Dalby. I thought about bringing it out last week because I didn't think I'd have time, but I had a little bit more time to prepare last week, so we did Omani instead. Torben's a lefty. So, Torben, do you like null binding with your left hand or just drinking with your left hand? Because I know he doesn't null bind. Nella says there are actually quite a few left-handers. Some do null bind from the right and some from the left. Yeah. You can get slightly ambidextrous with it. For some reason, when I use a knife and a fork for eating, I will hold the knife and the fork in the opposite hand for most right-handers. And for some reason, if I wear a watch, but I haven't worn a watch in ages, I wear it on my left hand and not on my right like most. I don't know. I mean, I wear it on my right hand. Normally, you're supposed to be writing, so when you're writing, you can look at your watch on your left hand, but me, I would actually rather do this. But, by the way, I had to show a kid what the stamp looked like. I don't know if you can see that. That's Georg, and that's a Viking ship in the village. Okay, so one more time. I'm going to do it this way. Go from the inside. Wrap the first one around, and then... Still learning the basic. You can do it, Charlotta. Okay, let's see if that's straightened out now. Torben says, well, since I play the piano, I'm somewhat ambidextrous. I only prefer left hand when writing. Ah. And Max says, my mother is left-handed. Despite the world is 90% right-handed, it's part of human nature, evolution, genetics, and biology. Did you know in Norway, actually, a lot of them tried to, when the older generation, like 2 generations before me, because I'm so young, they actually were forced to learn how to do it with the right hand, even if they were left-handed, because it was considered taboo. See, there you go. That was the difference. There's that mess in the middle. That's where I realized I was taking the loop the wrong way, but all of a sudden it evens out again. So I'm not sure. I have to recheck the video and see if I just taught you the wrong way, but it is better. So I'm actually going, let's see. There's those 2 loops in the back, and they're pointing, if I straighten them out a little bit. Loop 3 and 4 point. Well, you can't see crap now. I have this horrible at showing this. They point this way. One there and one there. So rather than taking the 3rd loop from that direction, I'm taking it from that direction, and I think it sits much better. So either I was showing you the wrong way in the beginning, or I've just said, screw it, I'm doing it my way. Have to recheck. Amaro says the left was the bad hand in Belgium too. Yeah? No, I had Christians here as well, and Doro. In Germany in old times too, so my father had to learn to write with the right hand. Okay, I officially declare Cross Dalby to be done this way because I just like it better and it looks better. Let's go get a Karl now. I think we've seen enough needle binding for those who are drinking like Torben. I'll let you stare at my perfect work here. And my beautiful cut job of Karl's wrist warmers. I'll be right back. Karl! We're ready for you. I think I just taught everybody how to do a stitch the wrong way. Either that or I was doing it wrong the other way. And then I'll catch up on chat. I have a Karl, and I have to start working on a wrist warmer in gray. Oh, I think he might have gone to pray to the nicotine gods, and he'll be here soon then. Wee, back. So then I'll catch up on chat with you. Oh, we're having a good hair day today. Might be a little windy outside. Let's see. What did I miss in chat? Hardanger is cold and windy, not surprising. Oh, other fun things. I'm listening to the radio station at home. Damn it! Did you know it was supposed to snow today? I didn't know it was supposed to snow today. Oh, yeah. It's supposed to snow. And then they're yelling at people through the window, turn your lights on when driving through the snow, the radio station from home. And then the next one is, that bus driver thinks they're going to make it up the hill. I just can't see how that's going to happen, the tour bus. Ha, nope, there you go. She can't make it up the hill. She's got to turn around and get back down, but she can't. There's cars behind her. So she has to get out and shovel, and they're commenting the whole time, commentating on the whole thing. And then the next day on the radio, they're talking about all the snow they got. I'm running out of places to put the snow. And another one, then he says, we only got 99.8 inches. We were supposed to hit the 100. They're all pissed off. They want more snow. Gotta listen to it. It's kqds.com. What are you drinking? Oh, Karl got another melon flavored one.
Melon.
He's still working.
Fruit.
What day are you on your Christmas calendar that was supposed to be done before the new year? 20. There's so many fruity beers in here, and you seem to like them.
No, I don't like the fruity ones.
Melon. No, he doesn't.
This is going to be horrible.
I've been sending Torben pictures of Karl sitting here with fruity beers going. Oh, I can't. I don't have
the last 3 that was good though.
Yeah? I think my lens might be a little dirty, but oh well. And then you got to try on your wrist warmers. I cut off the other one though, so I showed him how I cut it off. So you could try it. You have one, but you can see how it fits. They look too small for him, but I do want to reinforce that though, because you can already see with one day's wear it's stretching quite a bit right there. That's kind of why I like to pick up a row and go around, but I don't know if they'd fit him quite right if I did. So if not, then I'll just do a blanket stitch around the edge. Let's see. Okay, anyways, you have to try that. I'm catching up now. Let's see. Max says, yes, my mom grew up with that in the Catholic school back because they believe that left-handed are evil, but now they believe that belief no longer exists, which now left-handers are widely accepted. Did you grow up with the left-handers being taboo?
No, I don't. Except for Torben, I don't really know any evil left-handed people.
Well, he is an evil left-handed person. He's drinking 12% beer. I think he's a puddle right now. What do you think?
Depends on how much of it he is drinking.
Okay, so what are we going to do when we run out of your calendar? I think you have, 24 days on that calendar?
We'll have to start buying the suspicious beer that we are selling in our own store.
Are we doing beer tasting every week now? You're turning into a cute little alcoholic.
I don't think a beer a week makes you an alcoholic.
No, but you've had more beer in the last, 3 Saturdays than you've had the entire year.
Yep, and the entire 4 or 5 years. But that's because I barely ever drink normally.
Yeah? I'll see. I'll do round 2 on this one. Albert says when he used to eat knife and fork, when I eat, I use knife and fork in either hand depending on the food. I have to, for some reason I hold it opposite. There's Carl's mom saying, "Are you left-handed?" "No, you're not left-handed." "Oh, you're an ambidextrous one." No, I wouldn't consider myself ambidextrous, but it's just silverware and watches I wear on the wrong hand. I use the other hand for. I don't know why. But
Watches is a weird one.
yeah, because most people with the right hand, they write with this hand and then they would check the clock so they can keep writing, you know? But I have to put it on this hand.
It's not that.
I
but
try putting on this hand and I start writing and I immediately do this.
The watch is usually. You don't want it to interfere with whatever you're doing. So
Yeah.
the hand you're using the most is the hand where you don't want things like that.
No, I don't know why I do it, but even if, I would still look at the wrong hand.
I'm kind of doing it with my jewelry. I have all of it on my right hand because I'm walking around like
I
this.
know, I gave you
So
another bracelet and you put it on the left hand and
I put it on the same hand
Yeah,
because
you
the
told
other
me.
hand is hidden. Like if you're following my guided tour, you will practically never see this hand.
Yeah.
You'll notice that at the end of the season, this hand is sunbrown, and this hand is as
It's
white
true.
as a ghost.
And you have this nice white tan line here. Okay, well, I did this stitch all wrong on my test piece, or in my wrist warmers that I have to make.
And you know you're outside a lot when you manage to get sunbrown in Gudvangen.
Then you look Spanish. Carlos. Was it Virginia called you? Carlito.
So suspicious of this.
Yeah, so grapefruit and melon. Is it an IPA?
I just don't understand why you.
It is. It's an Indian Pale Ale. Torben likes these. By the way, what are these fruit doing to each other? Are you making the same face when you're eating it, drinking it? Does he look the same? For one, you have all your teeth. But so it smells very fruity. If it smells fruity, it's got to taste fruity.
It's like wrong. I don't know how to say it otherwise.
It's like wrong.
There are things in this beer that shouldn't be in this beer. And I suspect it's the melon and the grapefruit.
What's the percentage of this stuff? I think most of them are 4.7.
It's normal. This thing doesn't come from the Vinmonopoly, it came from the shop.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think
So,
those are mostly 4.7.
I believe the limit is 5. I'm not sure about
No,
it,
this is
but,
4.7 as well, yeah.
There is a limit for how strong something can be before you have to go and buy it in the Vinmonopoly in Norway. Norway is kind of a nanny state when it comes to alcohol.
A nanny state or a ninny state?
Both.
Okay.
So, for instance, you can't buy alcohol on a holiday.
No.
You can't buy alcohol on the day before a holiday, because that would indicate that you're planning to drink it on the holiday. And you can't buy alcohol on election day.
No.
I have to admit, I have been very drunk many times in my life. But I have never gotten so drunk that I completely changed my political allegiance to the opposite side of the political spectrum. That just doesn't happen. And if it happened, and let's assume that the right and the left side drink about equally much, it will make no difference, because now all the Nazis are voting for the commies and the commies are voting for the Nazis, so it evens out. Let people drink on election day. I see no problem with it.
You can buy alcohol any day of the week you want to in Minnesota, at least.
Yeah,
It does close at a certain time of day, but
I know that some of the Bible Belt states have what they call blue laws, which means that they are treating Sundays kind of like we are in Norway.
yeah.
But because of the separation of church and state, they are being constantly sued by atheist groups that consider this to be unconstitutional.
Okay. What about separation of church and alcohol? Or no, state and alcohol? Was it that what you're doing over here?
Well, you have the ATF, so you're certainly not trying to separate it, you either. But in Norway, the state very much wants to control your alcohol. And when you are buying alcohol in Norway, most of the money that you put into it goes to the state.
Oh, okay. I remember, though, in Duluth, we have, I think, 7.5%, well, now it's different, but 7.5% sales tax on beer. But if we just went 2 minutes across the border to Superior, Wisconsin, they only had 5.5%. So we always bought alcohol over there. Meanwhile, though, food and like dairy, food, essential food and clothing has no tax in Duluth, or was it no tax or less tax? I forget. And I think it's no tax anyway. So we'd buy that. People would buy that over. Superior, Wisconsin would come over to Duluth to buy that. And then there was the Canadians. They just crossed the border and bought everything.
But alcohol is basically cheap in America compared to Norway.
Oh yeah, dirt cheap compared.
So how much alcohol do you have to buy to actually save money on a 2% purchase by driving?
Well, the Canadians come over in caravan, or they come over in campers, RVs, and fill them up with everything they get, and bring it back across. So yeah, no, I don't know. Yeah, the other thing was the bars in Superior, Wisconsin were open an hour later than the ones in Duluth, Minnesota. So you would, last call in Duluth, and you make a mad rush for the border. You could drink an hour longer. And then, as my brother would say, ain't nobody ugly after 2 a.m.
So you got southern when he's drunk?
A bit. Well, you got when you say the word ain't. Yeah, I think he does, actually. Come to think of it, it's his times in the ROTC.
So the American scale of alcohol is
much better.
You are sober, then you're Minnesotan, then you're Southern, and then you're Florida.
This is Minnesota ways to go. But let's talk about them Bulldogs in hockey. Oh, ice fishing is a popular topic of discussion. Oh, I've got to get you listening to that station. It's rock channel, so they play good music. Okay, I'm totally ignoring chat. So yeah, great. If you don't know what the color of the munch challenge is, the color of the munch, I can't speak today. Color of the month. So January was brown, February was blue, and this time it's gray. You can use any shade of gray you want. You can do needle binding, you can do knitting, you can do painting, you can do quilting, whatever, and it doesn't have to be completely gray. It just has to have some gray in it, in any shade of gray. That's the color of the month, and you have 1 month to make something. January I made a hat, which was pink with a lot of brown. That I finished. In February, I decided to be more focused on moving efficiently or something. I don't know, because I still haven't finished the blue wrist. I have one wrist warmer in blue.
You haven't finished moving efficiently either. So.
No, I haven't finished moving efficiently either, but I got to get my ass in gear because June is coming fast. Anyhow, so hopefully I can, well, now that we've sold the last 2 wrist warmers I had in the store here, I have to get them finished. So.
It turned out it was good for business to have this group staying so long.
Yeah, it was actually. Oh, do you want to tell them which Viking ship blew our way due to bad weather?
Honestly, I have no idea, and I don't care because it's
well,
just groups
before you tell it anyway. So no, it's a Viking cruise. So technically, it's a Viking ship, right? They were up in Trondheim, I want to say it was, or anywhere up north. But it was blowing so far they were supposed to continue going up, and it was blowing so badly that they actually just turned the boat and came down here instead. So we got unexpected cruise ships. So they literally got blown in our direction. And it's a Viking ship, Viking cruises.
It can't have been that unexpected since we've known about it for like 2 weeks.
We knew one of them, but they were supposed to. We had, I think, extra or something.
I don't think it was weather dependent at all because we've known about this for a long time.
Well, crap, then I have no
idea. So
idea.
either that or the weather reports are a hell of a lot better than I think they are.
I think we were supposed to get 1 bus today, but we got 2 because of it or something. Because there was one that was supposed to come yesterday.
No, they're from the same ship.
Well, crap if I know. My story is no longer as good. Okay, so tell me, why is it a good story for you? Otherwise, why it turned out to be beneficial today.
No, it's too cold to hang around in the village. I was on archery and all the tourists shoot 1 arrow each and then they just run away because it's too cold to be standing around.
Uh-huh.
So they hung around in the shop for like an hour. And you can't hang around in a shop for an hour without buying something. And when you are American and you have this pleasant Minnesota woman to talk to, you feel obligated to buy stuff.
Oh, they bought books from the British guy, too, that knew all about every single book we have in the store.
Yeah, but the British guy uses 45 minutes to tell 1 tourist about 1 book.
Oh.
So it would be more efficient to just read it out loud to him.
I think I sold 4 necklaces, 2 rings, a pair of earrings, in silver and bronze, by the way. So it was a very good day. We need to order more now, by the way, and soon. So, but that's okay, because now if we're going to order more, then maybe you and I can go and look at the catalog and figure out something that we need. Because you and I are pretty much depleting the stash of silver and bronze in the store. We have pretty much everything we wanted out of the selection we have, so.
Yeah, no, but it boils down to what sells.
I want to get a torque for the neck. No, I think you just your mind went somewhere gutter like.
Yeah, no, but we have the 3-piece torque thing that we have
Yeah.
had in the shop like forever.
I sold 3 of those. What are you talking about?
Yes, but we still have them, and they're only bought by Vikings because no,
No!
tourist would be caught dead in that thing.
I sold 2 of them on Amazon. They
Yeah,
were
but-
those weren't Vikings, but anyway, no, they go. It's just that we had more, so every time it looks like we run out of one, she brings another one down from the storage. So that's why. But oh, I like that necklace. It's 3-piece. It's like 2, I think, that go in the back, and then 1 in the front, and they're connected. But
It looks like a slightly posh slave collar.
it's cool. I'd be a slave for that. But it's too when I wear it because my neck is obviously much bigger than normal people.
Now you
so it's
know
like,
what you're getting for next birthday.
that's right. We got to make it longer though, because otherwise it'd be like a dog collar on me. It needs to be. It'd be nice if it's set here on the collarbone. Okay, I'm ignoring everybody. No, so it was a good jewelry day today. Oh, they're talking about the beer. So anyway, let's see. Max got sick around 4:25 a.m. on Tuesday and came down with a gastric virus. Oh my God, Max! Shame on you. I hope you're okay.
4:25. That's a very specific time to get sick.
Well, when you're up at that time of day, it's like me telling you what time I got up. I don't mention it. Oh, it was at 12:35. I went this way, or about it's like 42, 36. When you see the clock, it's it's a digital clock anyway. So when you see the digital number, it just kind of sticks in your head.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just me.
Get it, but I usually get sick so gradually that I can't just go, nope, I'm feeling fine.
I'm with you, Max. Probably that's when they noticed the clock this morning, but getting up in the morning anyway would suck. But gastric virus, holy crap, I hope that gets better. Torben says, when you put fruit in beer, it becomes soda. Bruce, which is
Yeah.
Norwegian for soda. Do you agree?
Not really, because I would prefer Bruce over this. So
Yeah.
even the girly drink, the Bruce thing.
Yep.
What is the American term for that?
That's what I was just going to say. You're going to have to explain what Roos Bruce is, because we don't have that.
It's basically a pre-made sweet drink, like Smirnoff Ice or something like that you buy in a like soda bottle, and it has the same alcohol percent as beer.
And why do they call it Roos Bruce?
Because that's basically what it is. It's soda with alcohol in it.
But Roos, isn't that from...
Rus means intoxication.
Okay, yeah, I like Roos Midler. Okay, never mind. I was
Not as
thinking of...
in Russian.
No, I wasn't thinking of that. I was thinking of the school thing. And when they Nagordy
No,
Roos.
no,
Yeah.
no.
Okay, anyhow, Prudence is here, by the way. She says, but what if you get drunk, so drunk that you forget to vote?
Well, then voting was probably not that important to you, so you...
Some presidents got elected that way.
You made the intentional choice to get drunk instead of voting. And I have made the intentional choice of going fishing instead of voting. And that does not mean that the Norwegian government should say that, no, you cannot fish on election day.
I got summoned for jury duty. 50 years old. I finally get summoned for jury duty. I'm one of those idiots that thinks, that sounds like fun. When I was in high school, I joined, or is it high school or junior high anyway, I joined one of the clubs that was called Youth Jury. So you would actually get out of school for a little while to go down to the courthouse and participate in a jury for a underage crime, somebody that's under 18 anyway, and they could have a trial by jury by their own peers. So it's usually something like graffiti or theft or something really small anyway. I thought this was just fun and interesting to watch. That's probably why I'm down the rabbit hole of I'm still on the Jodi Arias rabbit hole for true crime. But watching that trial, it's hilarious. They're doing the cross-examination right now. It's like this dog that's just been like dying to get off the leash, and they just went ding, and he's like, whoo. Prosecutor is cross-examining like something fierce. Anyway, but I summoned to jury duty, and so it goes to my brother's address because I don't really live in the United States, obviously. So I had to write that one. Not that I don't want to attend and get out of jury duty, but I don't live there. But if you want to pay for the plane tickets, and then, of course, I've got 2 kids that I can't abandon for such a period of time, so you need to bring them over as well. And then I'm going to need to eat and a place to stay as well. I'd love to come. Unfortunately, I'm now disqualified, so I can't But they reserve the right to call upon it again, so I just had to provide. It was actually really quite easy. I just had to take a picture of my residence permit, and that wasn't a problem. Anyway, I was kind of upset. I would thought that would have been fun to do, and I just thought I almost had an all-expense-paid trip to United States.
I don't think they're that dead set on having you as a potential juror.
Boring. Okay. Let's see. Nella says here you can buy alcohol between 9 in the morning and 9 in the evening if you are not visibly drunk. Walk in a straight line.
In Norway, we kind of have the same thing. You're not allowed to sell alcohol to somebody who is visibly drunk. But the definition of visibly drunk is very contextual. Mm-hmm. So if you are in a fisherman pub out by the coast somewhere, then visibly drunk means cannot speak, cannot move, and is no longer trying to get to the bar. Those people won't buy alcohol. But other places, just your eyes look a little bit weird. Nope, you're off.
Elko Pop says Peruda. South African Schletza apple. Elko Pop, Bruce. Elko Pop. I haven't heard of that one before.
It sounds right. It sounds like the same concept.
Kind of like that. I'm doing an F1 on this one just to see what it looks like when there's more than one row together. Kiwi said I recently bought a Dremel tool, which I've been using to make pendants in horn and mother of pearl. I bought a Dremel and I have not used that enough. I was meaning to do, I liked the idea of putting runes on rocks, little pebbles or something in them. How do you like the Dremel, by the way? I don't know. I actually underused. We have a Dremel here at work. I want to try the Dremel. Yeah, again, we have to do that again. I completely forgot about the Dremel thing until you said that. I need to try that. But carving in horns looks like a lot of fun. There is a lady from Denmark. She's a Viking reenactor. We see once a year here. That's like a motorcycle Viking too. But she takes a burn pen. What is that called? A lod. Svi pen. It's whatever anyway.
Burn pen, I think is the correct.
Yeah, it's just like a little pen with a. But it's not a pen, obviously. It's this little wire in the end that heats up, and you can burn things with it. Anyway, but she'll take the horn, and she will just hold it on there and lift it up and do these dots over and over and over again, and it kind of like just melts the horn enough that it makes this little orange. And she does this like these little mosaic patterns out of it, and it looks so cool. I so wish that was Viking, but obviously it's not. But it would be. She makes such cool Viking horns and patterns out of it. But you have to try that technique too. Well, if you're playing with horn, see what it looks like to do that. I thought it was cool anyway. And they're like relief pictures too. So she basically does the dotting in the negative space on a picture. See, Max says my mom's handwriting is sort of like a variant of semi-cursive and crossbred, and like a crossbreed between print and cursive. Like in a bubblegum shaped version. I think my brother used to be married to somebody with handwriting like that. Wood burning tool, thank you. Karin knows. Coal roasting is very similar. Oh, I don't know what that is. KOHLROSING. I have to check that. Kiwi says, by the way, the Dremel is great. She used it to make a wooden handle for a knife too. By the way, speaking of things Kiwi makes, I saw your sweater. That was really cool. And I also saw that you're perfect like me, because you wrote something about how you were you were going through your pattern again and realized you had an error. So, we are actually perfect. We just like to throw those kind of things in to test people, right? Not buying that? But I'm glad I'm not the only one that makes mistakes. But it's good that you have a sweater pattern. People have been asking and asking and asking for those, and I haven't gotten around to it. Speaking of the needle binding festival, I'm going to have to drag you to that. That's going to be kind of fun. And if we can pull it off, and then of course YouTube, then we'll have Andecker there, Nella's going to be there, Maria Hale's going to be there. That's going to have to be a 2-hour YouTube special where the first hour Karl says, "Get me the fuck out of here," and
you are very much overestimating my patience for textiles.
I will ditch you at some sort of military museum after a while.
You remember teaching Toril how to do needle binding?
Episode 14. Go way back to week 14, and you can see what happens when my boss learns how to needle bind.
Well, did she learn it, you think?
Well, first we had to remove all the sharp objects, and about 5 minutes in, this piece of null binding and a needle gets launched across the room, ripped into 1,000 pieces first. And then we later see her smoking on the lawn in the non-smoking Viking village doing, oh. One of my favorite YouTube moments. And that's why I remember the day. I think it was number 14 anyway. It was a bunch of us. It was Marie and Kristen and Annabelle was there and Mona was there and Virginia and we're all sitting out on the lawn in the early summer. Up on the hill there. Okay, so round 2 looks quite cool. But anyway, no, we will have to drag you there for a little bit. But mostly I plan on just showing you where the big boy museums are. You're doing some weird thing with the glass.
Yeah, no, I just noticed that there is some impurities at the end of the snubbles, so I have to wash it properly next time.
That's why you get too much head on your beer. Torben even told you that.
Yeah.
Your impurities. Yeah. No. So the beer is only good if it's see-through? You just have to drink a darker beer and you won't notice the impurities. Surely there's enough alcohol to kill the bacteria.
Yeah, no, then the bacteria isn't an issue here. It's mostly aesthetics, but I'm also a little bit uncertain on how I wash the bottom of the snubbles, because
Pipe cleaner. Piperense.
Yeah, no.
Oh, that'd be
Too much
easy.
work.
Okay. How do you clean your snobbles?
I would say very hot water, very many repetitions of...
Nope. Can't use too hot water on that. Remember we found that out the hard way with the one I got you for your birthday?
No, that's...
The water that comes out of the faucet in Norway, unless you like adjust it, it is like
Yeah,
you can burn.
No, but
you can.
it's a matter of not going from cold to hot. It's a matter of preheating glass.
Yeah, but it wasn't cold to hot. It was just room temperature to hot, and you can feel a little fracture coming.
I can heat this glass up so it's glowing red.
Yeah.
But as long as I do it gradually.
Yeah.
If I go from cold to hot and then very hot on one part of the glass and cold on the other, then it will crack.
Yeah.
But as long as you heat it up somewhat evenly, no problem.
No, I just remember I was washing the thing and I could suddenly feel this little fracture under one finger. Oh, gotta stop. By the way, we're getting pretty close to out of time, so you gotta tell us more stories. Okay, I'm gonna turn this again.
You have any questions for me?
We need a Karl question. Somebody entertain Karl with a question while I show you a little more needle binding, because we haven't had enough of that lately. There's my second row together. It looks quite cool. This is the cross Dalby. So now I did row 2. This is the right side, which is the side facing you, or technical right, should we call it, because you decide. But it's the side facing you as you needle bind. And this is the side, the wrong side, this side facing away from you as you needle bind. And this is a fuck up. But this is just a sample. I just wanted to see what it looked like when second row is together. So now this is what the camel one looks like. It's not for the faint of heart to use this camel yarn, by the way, because it's hard to identify your loops. It's so fuzzy. But I like the way this is looking, so I will have to finish wrist warmers out of this. Do you think I can do this before we change the color again? So anyway, Karl. Questions for Karl. First we have to find you again. There you are. I think the gimbal's starting to get old.
This tastes so horrible, actually. Horrible. I'm sure it's a grapefruit. I think melon, it's not a good idea, but melon might work. It wouldn't be too offensive.
Melon beer?
Yeah, but the grapefruit is killing me there.
Okay, Karl, what is your favorite beer, by the way, says Torben. And then he's got like 3 stop emojis.
Ooh. I'm not really a connoisseur, so...
There's one you drink constantly, but I don't know if that's just out of habit, like the iced coffee, or if you actually prefer it.
I drink Corona a lot, but that's because...
With lime.
It's kind of refreshing, and you can drink a lot of it without it having any consequences. You have to drink an enormous amount to end up Mexican.
My first trip to Sweden, I went to a bar there and I was afraid everything was going to be so much stronger. So I ordered a Corona to start out easy with something familiar. I was 21. And then apparently the city that I went to in Sweden doesn't see a lot of Americans, so especially young ones. I was 21 years old. Anyway, so they all start buying me the beer that I'm drinking, and unfortunately, Corona was not necessarily my beer of choice. I just started out easy, so I ended up sitting with like 10 Coronas trying to off them off on people. So always go with the first beer, the one you actually wanted.
I remember a strong, I believe it is English beer called Tannets or Tannants or something like that.
Oh, you did get a couple questions we have to ask you.
11-12% beer. And I remember that as good, but I was drinking it when I was in my teens, so I'm not sure. And also, nobody told me that it was 11%. I thought it was like 4.5. So I end up very, very drunkenly discussing whaling with the guy who has been a whaler and now is a fisherman.
Only in Norway would you run into whalers.
And Greenpeace vegan woman. And I managed to insult both of them so horribly. I don't remember exactly what the hell I said.
Okay, question Karin asks actually, which is a good one. We've covered it before, I think, but not on this one. Why are they called schnabel? Why is it called a schnabel glass?
That's the Norwegian and Swedish term for it. Because
schnabel is trunk, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a trunk.
Because it looks kind of like elephant heads with trunks.
So we would call it a trunk glass, I suppose.
No, the English term is clawbeaker.
Clawbeaker? Oh, because they look like claws. Talons.
For whoever gave it the English name is thinking in terms of claws, and whoever gave it the Norwegian and Swedish name was thinking in terms of elephant trunks.
Okay, so Belgian, let's see, Germany representing, Holland representing. What do you see? Do you see a schnabel? Do you see a claw? Or do you see something completely different? What would you call it? Okay, and then there's a couple questions, so we'll go a little over time because I was too busy babbling to read questions. Karl Garcia says, is it true that the Vikings suffered from worms? I read something about it somewhere. Actually, that sounds familiar.
I seem to remember, yes.
I remember reading something about that too.
It's from the semi-fossilized piece of human excrement that they found in Jorvik.
The oldest poop?
I don't think it's the oldest poop, not even close. But it's an actual Viking poop.
Viking poop.
And that seems to indicate, I don't remember exactly what kind of parasites, but the guy who pooped it, or the person who pooped it, had a very rich nutrition. They eat everything: fish, meat, birds, bread, everything. But I also have some kind of intestinal worms because I found the eggs in the...
Yeah. I read that article too. I think that's the one. Yeah, that sounds why it sounded familiar. Max said, is there any anti-parasitic medication in the Viking culture? That's a good question.
I doubt it. Because parasites are, biologically speaking, so similar to us that it's kind of advanced medicine to come up with something that just kills the parasite and doesn't kill you. I don't know, but I would guess they didn't have anything. So if your immune system can't deal with the fucker, then you have to share the rest of your life with the thing.
Yeah. Give it a name. Anne says, she no idea what to call it in Belgium, but it's a nice glass. That's a good name for it. I like that. Torben says, Swedish folk Earl, like drinking air. It was Corona. It was just in Sweden. Max says, again, there's nothing wrong with being left-handed. Something you were born with, passed down throughout genetic history, evolution, and human history. No, there's nothing wrong with being left-handed. I actually think it would be kind of fun to be different.
In some context, it's a great advantage, like fencing, for instance. Because somewhere a little bit shy of 10% of people are left-handed. So almost all the time you will be training against a right-handed person. It doesn't matter if you're left-handed or right-handed. So everybody is used to fighting against the right-handed people, but every time they meet a left-handed person, everything is backwards. Your shield is right opposed to his shield. Your weapon is right opposed to his weapon. It shouldn't be like that, and it's very confusing for us right-handed people. But for left-handed people, it's like that every day. So they are used to fighting confused right-handed people. The only way to really confuse left-handed fighters is when they are fighting each other, because that very rarely happens, and then they have the same problem that we have.
Skills and tactics. To see if I missed any more questions here before we run out of time. Well, we have run out of time, but I'm reading a little backwards. Max says maybe I can make a bracelet for her when her birthday arrives or when Mother's Day comes. I think that's a good idea. Bracelets are always great. Okay, carved wood with coffee or cinnamon rubbed in groove, says Karin. Oh yeah, wood burning. Cold roasting is very similar, which is carved wood with coffee or cinnamon rubbed in the groove. Oh, that's like that bowl we have up there. It's a little out of the way to reach it, and I'd have to go over beer drinking Karl to get it. But can you grab it? It's the one that Anna Granberg made, just whatever's in the middle of it can dump. I think she used that. Yeah, I think she uses that technique. But this thing is amazing. She comes every summer.
For some reason full of sticks.
Oh, those are old. Those sticks thing. That was something Runa was doing.
And it's not been cleaned for a while.
No, so we're looking at the bottom anyway. Is it this cold roasting? Because it's made with a burn pen and stuff. But it's quite cool. She does amazing work, this one. Anne Granberg. I see my lens is a little foggy today, but it kind of fits your beer drinking anyway. This thing is amazing. Yeah, I love this bowl. Unfortunately, it's been housing Auntie back on the other side, so that, but it's quite cool. And then, of course, see the big one in the middle there. Wouldn't that be fun to embroider? Take forever, but be very cool. And then, because it's very dirty, I'm just going to show you the outer edge on the inside here instead of the middle. But I forget what the runes say. But yeah, she does amazing work. So if you go on the Viking Valley Facebook page and you scroll down a bit till you see pictures from the market, I think it was the Christmas market or the other market anyway, you can see some of her pictures, some of the boxes in the background on one of those pictures. She also does glass beads. I don't think she makes them, but she collects them and strings them up to wear on the apron dresses. Did Piotr make? No, this one. Piotr does wood carving. This is wood burning. If you look really closely, you can see the wood burning in there. Look at the dots. This is Anna Granberg. Looks like Anne Granberg, Anne with an E on the end. Anna, I think Anna. Because the Norwegians pronounce the end E like an A. And then you can see it better here. If you look really close up, you can see it's wood burned. So I was wondering if that might be what that cold roasting is. How long did it take someone to make that? Oh God. If it was me, I'd be sitting there forever. Because it looks like it doesn't look like she's just dragged the pan. It looks like she's been kind of dotting it.
Now I've seen some of the people who do detailed crafts
amazing.
like this can be very, very efficient.
Her prices are pretty good too. There's a little bit of carving on there, like around the eye.
Her name
see some
sounds
carving.
Swedish to me, so I would guess she's probably not that efficient.
God, are we insulting Sweden now today, are we?
I have to
You're so
insult
proud
one
of
nation
yourself,
every
too.
day.
Jesus. Okay. No, but anyway, that must mean it's time to go. Karl's drank a beer and he's now getting offensive to Sweden. So tomorrow, next week, Saturday, same time?
Yeah. And
Yep.
next week I'll focus on...
Who are you going to insult next week?
Let's go for something simple. The Dutch.
We have Dutch freemen who have arrived today. They're going to be here quite a lot.
I've
been calling them German for weeks. They finally show up and I call them German and they're Dutch.
No, the Dutch people are not German, even though the Germans keep trying to make them German.
I don't know how I got mixed up in emails, but at some point I decided that they were German. And I've been referring to the Germans are coming, and they're not even German. Garcia says, see you next week of the Dutch. Garcia's from Holland. So there you go. All right. Prepare to be insulted by the Schnabelmaster. Okay. She says, come on. I smell a challenge here. Okay, I'm looking forward to it. Okay. Oh, cold roasting is carving, not wood burning. Okay, crap. Well, then I'm going to look this up. I'm going to Google that word.
She told you that it's the coffee thing.
It's the coffee thing.
You carve something and then you rub coffee or cinnamon on it.
I'm going to look that up. Because I rub cinnamon on my food. No. Time to go.
She told you this and you read it out loud, woman.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean I absorb what I did read it out loud. I remember reading it, but in my head, I'm just sitting there seeing some, Juan Valdez going. Did you ever hear that joke? Do you know how to make somebody stop drinking coffee? Send him a picture of Juan Valdez's mule peeing on a coffee plant. Bye. See you later. Next week, yeah. How do I end? There you go. Okay.